Greetings, family. Today we're going to talk about a serious issue. And it comes from a lot of people when we come here, we're here on the continent, and we're talking to different local folks, and they always say, why did you leave America to come here? And of course, we always ask them, because they want to come to America, we always ask them, why do you want to go there? And their answer is always because of financial opportunity. So listen, we're going to talk about this today. We're going to let everyone know why is Black Americans leaving America. But we need you to watch it all the way to the end because we're discussing very sensitive subjects. But before you do, please like, share, and subscribe.
Greetings, peace and blessings. We are the Mohammeds, the residential tourists from 85 to Africa. We are living in the after. It is that very last statement that we want to stress and put some weight on. We are living in the after. So, we've come to Africa, right? And when we get here, we get the question as to why.
They're like, why the heck would you leave America?
They ask why, and it's like, okay, they want to know how they can get from Africa to America. And so guess what we say? Why? At any rate, we've come to learn that in the dialogue in answering from both ends the question as to why, we've come to the realization that unfortunately many of the Africans, we're here in Kigali, Rwanda, but I think it holds true in some of the other countries that we have been to, given that direct experience, that they don't necessarily know us. They don't know our history. They don't know what it is that we had gone through and what we go through living and being Black in America.
Yep. And so many, our new audience here, first off, we reached 10,000. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. But a lot of the audience is beautiful, beautiful Africans.
Wonderful African brothers and sisters.
Yes. Big South Africa, Nigeria, Kenya, Rwanda, even some from Somalians, and so we are so grateful that we have a nice, diverse audience, and we would like to take this opportunity to maybe just show you guys, or a smidget of what we go through in the States.
And to pretty much kind of lay a reasoning, if you will, of what it is that, as Black people endure living in America. The question, or the answer to the question when we ask them why is it that you want to go to America? It's a sincere question, because, we're here. We left America, but that's not an indicator to most of them, And so we ask, well, what is it? What is it that is, it's encouraging you to want to go to America? And I guess the consensus is, and the answers that are given is opportunity.
To make money.
To make money. I get it. That's cool. I'm not mad at that. We're not mad at that at all.
I miss American money. I do. But would I change our situation from being here on a continent to being back home and slaving over 8 hours?
Non-cipher.
with barely no name. I didn't know my manager's name. They don't know my name. They just know what I do. I wouldn't change a day for it.
Emphatically no.
Mm-mm.
For sure.
So what we did is we compiled a list of why, maybe even for us, why did we leave America? But also having a lot of expat friends here in Kigali, these were also the majority of their reasons. So let's get into it. Number one, numero uno reason. Racism.
Now look, we're gonna detail as to the reasoning why we and many leave America, but we also want to highlight it so that those of our African brothers and sisters who do go are enlightened as to what our experience is living in America. So not to deter, but to caution. At any rate, let's get it.
So, quick, fast story. My very first in my life experience with racism, I was just in kindergarten. 8 years old, on the swings, playing.
You was 8 years old in
7?
kindergarten?
How old are you? First grade.
Woo!
First grade, not kindergarten. I was 8 years old. I know I was 8 years old.
You was 8 years old in the first grade?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think so.
You're 5.5 to go to kindergarten.
And about 6 years
so
old.
Six. I'm in the first grade because I'm waiting for my uncle to come pick me up to walk me home. And I'm sitting on the swings, just waiting for him to come. He's late. And these two Caucasian high school boys walk up. Actually, it was three high school boys walked up, snatched me off the swing, held my arms like this, and the one boy punched me in the stomach, called me the N-word. And I remember falling to the ground. There was sand on where the swings are. They had sand out there. And he pushed me and they walked away. And I was there. I couldn't breathe. I remember I had no oxygen. I'm just laying there like, because I'm a fighter now. It was 3 of them and they grabbed me, but I'm only 6 years old. But I'm sure I would have fought. But I couldn't even breathe. And they called me that N-word that you hear in the rap videos that y'all think we like. No, that's a totally different energy to it. And when my uncle came up, he's like, what happened? And I told him. And his response was, let's go. Nothing. Don't go retaliate against these Caucasians or anything of that nature. But that was my Zungles. But that was my first experience with racism at 6 years old.
I'm going to find them.
Go get them.
I'm going to find them.
I want to find them too. We're going to get them together. Like, yo, you remember when? They probably all old now because they were in high school.
That's even better.
I hope they had
I got a better chance.
Very rough life. No, so it's a difference when you're trying to figure out as an adult why are people being racist towards us, but as a child that sets a pattern, that sets a total different energy that follows you for the rest of your life. So for me, that was the very first time. But if you talk to our parents, the history behind what they went through, besides the fact of how we got to America in the first place, this is constantly energy in our lives that we're constantly faced with, and we never knew why. So
that because
why am I always the only one attacked by the bug?
She's so sweet.
Every video you see me fighting, no, and he just be there.
So I don't know that I have, interestingly enough, by the grace of God, right? I had not, that I can recall, had any direct occurrence or incidences as it relates to racism. The only thing, I'll say 2 things. The only thing that I can remember is when I was selected to represent, I'll just say my high school, but it was more than just my high school, to be in a program that brought not all of, but a great many of other students across the state of which I'm from, Pennsylvania. And it was an arts program. And so we were in an elective course, which is a writing course. And I was sitting there with about one other brother who was from the west side of Pennsylvania. I'm from the south central. He was the west side. Anyway, we were both black. Anyway, So the question was presented, as to how to write a particular story. And I guess I don't even know what it was about. Anyway, the question from the instructor, who was Caucasian, who was white, had asked the question to everyone. And the majority of those who were in the class were white. We were the only two black people in that particular class. And she asked the question as to, what is your thought of the urban inner city life, right? What comes to mind? And the answers, man, was crazy. Smells like piss, trash, all kind of crazy. And they were laughing. And we were sitting there looking at each other like, man, this is some bull. This is crazy, man.
Because for y'all, it was family, it was
right,
music, it was artistic.
Hip hop, it was.
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, this is what they think of us? So I was like really taken aback by that. Really, really, really. Because I had no idea. I had no clue. I was about maybe 17 at this particular point in time. However, the second point in that is, later on in life, I can come to, as I began to do the knowledge and really begin to awaken, I began to understand that, a lot of times, even if you're not confronted directly with any racist incidents occurrences, it is institutional and systemic. It is ingrained in the institutions of the American society and the system of the American society, of which, as my wife was saying, our parents and their parents were directly victims of in the laws that were created and developed. So just being black would prohibit you from entering into the door, the front door of an establishment, not being able to drink water from a water fountain the same as white people.
And then even in our Constitution, which I was researching a little bit more into, there's a law called the 1/3 law.
Right.
Three fifths, I'm sorry. And it's not saying, it says if you were not free, then you're 3/5 of a human. Meaning at that time, they didn't want you to have rights to vote. And in order to say you have to have rights to vote, you have to be a complete human. Black people that were slaves were not considered a whole human being.
Just property.
And it's still in the Constitution. It has not been changed.
2023.
So we're still looked at as not humans in the state. So it's easy for them to recently, he was on the train and he was being too loud. So I'm a Marine, I'm a Caucasian, I'm going to jump up and I'm going to choke his life out of him. And we're showing that there's GoFundMe's $2 million for his legal defense to say he was justified in killing this other individual because why? He's not really human, according to them. And it's not just, even though we haven't had major stories for ourselves with dealing with racism.
So many stories.
There's so many stories out there, and this is just the latest. We left the U.S. because having nightmares of watching all these young black males getting their life taken away from them just because.
And that's so to define, racism, it is a superiority complex or superiority.
I like to say the God complex.
It is that, but superiority, but that's a little different. Superiority mindset of a particular race of people being better than another race of people. This is the introduction of black people and white people from the very beginning. Whereas when we were kidnapped from Africa, taken to America, that was the actual establishment of a relationship that we as whites are better than you as African or you as black. And they built, because we came there, scratch that. We were brought there to build their world or their society. And so the relationship had to be predicated upon, you are beneath me, I am above you. And so whatever I say for you to do to build my society, to build my world, that's what you do. That's the only thing you're good for to do. And it was written and established into the governmental system and laws, and
It still is.
still holds to this day. Now, it's not as blatant as such.
Stand your ground laws in Florida.
Stand your ground law.
It's blatant.
But when I say it's not as blatant as such, I mean that it doesn't specify in necessarily
It
race.
doesn't say the race, but it's very undertone. You know the race.
Right. It's very.
You know the race.
So you know the race, but even though it's not specified in wording as such, it is understood because it's so well ingrained in the society. It is understood, which goes into where we talk about opportunity. Sure, there's opportunity in America, but there is lacking of equal opportunity, and that applies even in the justice system. So, as my wife said recently, a young man on the subway who was just voicing his frustration because he didn't earn the monies that he was wanting to earn from his, public performancing, not posing a threat to anyone. And then this Caucasian white man took it upon himself to interpret for others that were around that he was posing a threat. He had no weapon. He had nothing that was threatening. He didn't direct anything. He
wasn't being aggressive.
He wasn't aggressive physically or verbally. He took it upon himself to take this young man and choke his life out of him. And this is where it comes, where the point being made that there's no equal opportunity. Here's a man who clearly murdered this individual, but yet he has not been in prison. He has not been convicted of any crime, and he has the support and the backing of individuals across that nation
that supports
him with their finances for his legal fees and so forth and so on.
And that's not new.
It's not new.
They've done it. They've done it in Florida. Is it Trayvon Martin, the little young guy walking to home, eating Skittles, just went to the store, and the man just comes up
because he felt that he was a threat, because none other than
he had a hoodie on.
He was wearing something. He was just wearing clothes. He was just wearing.
And this is a young man, and he just took his life.
And
guess what? That dude, he's walking around.
He's still free.
Talking about stand your ground laws. What ground was he standing?
He wasn't.
He wasn't doing anything. But they created this law just for that. And soon as they created it, not very long, that's the first situation that happened.
So we can go on and on. We can speak volumes on this, but this is among many things as to why it is an environment that is not very welcoming, if you will, or not comfortable environment for black people, because you can only imagine the next 14-year-old boy or the next public performer, what is on his or her mind as to the possibility of just being present can just get me killed. And so this leads into the next point,
which number 2,
which is police
brutality.
Yep. Here you have a law enforcement that is designed to protect the community, that can protect people from harm and criminality of those who are ill-intending to or have ill intent to do something that is against civil living.
Imagine growing up black and the conversations you have with your children, especially our males. This is part of their birthright. When they're hitting about 12, 13 years old, you have to have a conversation on how to deal with the police. These are the people that are supposed to be protecting us, but we have to teach our children how to deal with their protection. And a lot of it is yes and no answers. Don't look them straight in the eye.
No sudden movement.
Don't put your hands in your pockets.
Don't reach for your cell phone.
So say yes, sir. Like the whole massive situation all over again. When your children start to drive, that's a whole nother conversation. Keep your hands at 10 and 2. Ask him, may I reach for my license? Nowadays, you have to go ahead and put your cell phone on and put on record. Have it the whole situation recorded. That might not even help you in the long run. We've seen situations where cops come, ask for the license. The man says, okay, I'm going to go and get my license out of the glove compartment. And dude shoots him.
Just shoots him.
Wife and children in the back. Just witness everything.
It's straight, just slaughter.
And guess what? He's walking around.
Walking away free.
Yeah.
Going on vacation and all of that stuff. So this is important, right? I'm feeling something, man. Kind of getting a little emotional. Because, you know, it's no way to live, man. This is no way to live. This is no way to as a black man, I have to, every time that I leave my home and I get into my vehicle, I have to wonder if I'm going to come back to my wife and family. She has to be home and wonder if my husband is coming back home.
Yeah, and we've talked about this before, and a lot of people or the Caucasians in our audience will say, well, why don't y'all talk about black on black crime? Well, you know what? There's a reason why we got to black on black crime. There's a reason why there's guns in the community and drugs in the community, and they came from a certain place. And the reason why there's no jobs and no financial opportunities is all orchestrated. And the police is just waiting. A lot of times, we don't want to, listen, it's so different here on the continent. Yesterday, or 2 days ago, we were driving and there were school-aged children walking home. And there's police on the corner. And the interaction was, why were they running and hugging the police?
They hugged the police.
I was so confused.
Man, it was just
high-fiving and hugging. Police.
That's a beautiful thing.
Man, it's a beautiful thing because the police have a job. The children know that they have a job to protect them, and so they love them for it. There's no, the energy is so different. And the police over here carrying big, giant AK-47s, hands on the trigger. But they have never, ever, ever, it's been 2 years, and there's no history that dated back for many years of police shooting someone.
Come on, man.
It's like mind-blowing.
I mean, I know for Rwandans or Africans, this might be like trivial to you, but listen, y'all don't understand, man. You don't understand the trauma. You know, if we were to take the setting of Rwanda, police officers posted on corners with guns and put it in America, oh my God.
Man, they'd be like, that's martial law. And we're going to fight against them because they have not earned their right to marshal us anymore.
Man,
this was in the U.S.
It would be so traumatic.
I'm telling you.
So this is how we lived. The stress level. This is how we live.
Stressful.
Man. It's very stressful, man.
Even for females, like we're driving down the street and you see that light behind you, your heart just drops. Oh my
God.
And for me, it's even worse. I haven't been through some stuff, but your heart drops. And I'm like, okay, all right. For me, I don't pull out my license. I know it by heart. 0672, blah, blah, blah. Georgia license plate expires, blah, blah, blah. I memorized my license because my mom told me, memorize your license. Never ask them, can you reach and get your license or have to put it down. Tell them, this is my license. I'll give you the number. And that's all they need is the number to run it in the system. They don't use it no more. They just use a little barcode on the car. But back in the day, that's why I know my license plate number. My driver's license number. Because I was always afraid to go reach for my purse or reach in the glove compartment or reach up here where I used to keep all my little stuff. I'll say it because my mom taught me this. Why we got to teach our children how to survive the police?
That is supposed to protect you. So, I mean, again, these are points that we can speak volumes on. And many of our viewers who are still there, who are very familiar with this, can attest to. And I hope that you do. I really hope that you do.
Yeah, even our African brothers and sisters that have moved to the States, you sending us comments, we reading them, and y'all are telling us, you can't wait to come home because you are understanding everything that we're talking about.
But here's the thing with that, though. Listen, family, my African brothers and sisters who have the fortunate opportunity to leave and go and live in America and reap some of the benefits that are there. When you come back, man, you got to tell the whole story, man.
Yeah.
You can't fluff it. You got to tell the whole story. You got to come back and you got to tell your people here of what we as black people, black American, black African, black Brazilian, black whatever.
Period.
what we are experiencing in the American society. You can't,
or the British,
or the
UK, they're going through it.
Canada.
Canadians
Sister
are
did
going
a
through it.
YouTube on same thing. Wherever we are, please, you got to tell that story. And one last thing I would like to say on the whole police brutality thing is that, you know, I done got so hype, I done lost my train of thought, man. I'll come back to it. I done got so hype on that, man, because it hits a nerve. It really hits a nerve. If it comes back to me, I'll share it with you. Let's move on.
Number 3, education.
Education.
And it stems back to, you know, people with children, or even before that, but speaking with people with children, they're fighting laws now in Texas and Florida. They're trying to take away the history of how black people actually got to the U.S. Important. Couple years ago, they tried to, desensitize the situation and say, we came willingly.
We volunteered.
To free labor, because we wanted to leave Africa so much. Free labor, to be slaves, to be abused, raped, killed, traumatized, sterilized, diseased,
stripped of our culture, stripped of our religion, stripped of our whole complete identity.
But they're going to keep that part out of it. They just wanted to look like we came willingly. We took a cruise. We took a cruise back then and landed on these shores to be slaves for the... I always got to think of the polite words.
They get it.
For the slavers, the colonizers,
so
the Mazungos, the masters.
All of that, man. And it's, you know, we in videos past that we presented, you know, that, you know, people speak in terms of learning the language. Man, imagine though. Come on, man. Imagine in present time that your native tongue, and you were taken from your native land, and you were told that you cannot speak your mother tongue. I can't sit next to you.
It was beat out of you.
You cannot speak it. So we speak the English language because they took the original language and mother tongue from us. And so, yes, this is what we know. So, you know, don't beat us over the head because we don't know the language. Because
it's hard for us
to know the language.
All we know is how to interact, vowels and consonants, and we're old. We're older people. Now we got to learn different languages, dialects, how to make it. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
But these are the things. This is what we had experienced. You know, and again, you know. Man, I can say so much. I'm gonna calm down a little bit, though.
Yeah, because usually it's me, right? He over here.
This is sensitive to
his legs bouncing. And so, think about education. Now they're also, mind you, they've been took God out of the school. No praying, no acknowledging of a supreme being. Period. They don't want children to recognize that there's a God.
That's crazy, man.
It lays the foundation for them to introduce anything and everything against any kind of morals upbringing that you're trying to instill in your children. You go into school and they're forcing stuff down their throat. If I can, 2 years ago, they were teaching children about how, not about, okay, there's homosexuality, but how to even do it. And this is 1st and 2nd grade. They're teaching children that God makes mistakes and you can choose who you want to be, not who God created you.
I already know how to. At this point, I already know how the comments is gonna come with this.
Right. We're just being truthful.
We're just being straight up.
Everybody don't want to have their children exposed to confusion.
So imagine this, right? Imagine just to look at both sides of the coin, right? So not teaching what is considered or was considered sex education, right? It seems to have been replaced with what my wife just mentioned, right? It's more of an indoctrination, right? And so there's an issue. That's an issue. That's really an issue, because help me to learn my body first.
And this is like first grade, kindergarten.
They don't even
babies.
They don't even know. They don't even.
We're still learning head, shoulders, knees, and toes, and you're bringing in a man dressed as a woman to teach them to no longer call them him
or
and
her.
To no longer recognize that there's two sexes in the world, female and female. Now we're going to call it all together. Them, they, she, I don't know. I don't know. But and you're forced, if this is public school, there's no permission slips going home. This is what they're going to teach, because now it's part of the curriculum.
It's just been mandated.
It's been mandated.
There's no parental involvement in saying.
You have no choice in the matter.
You know, and it's crazy. So what if our child or children was sitting in a room, right? Maybe not use. I'm not going to use that example, but this is the extremity. I want to use this example.
Maybe we can show them the example.
No. If the curriculum was to say, okay, let me show you how to actually engage in sexual activity. Let me show you how to perform in sexual activity. Let me show you that would, you would flip.
Yeah.
As a parent, you would flip out if you are introducing in a curriculum anyway.
And you want to teach your child birds and bees, and you want to take it on. For me, we took it just little levels, according to the age of and understanding. Not no more.
It's straight. It's raw.
You'd be like, I'm glad that we're not there, because I could just see me trying to fight teachers. Like, what the heck? Oh no.
But these are things. These are points that we're making. And again, we're not trying to offend, but listen, we're offended.
But even
we're offended as Black people.
Yeah.
You know, that we have been written out of, or been trying to be written out of, the history, our presence, our purpose. Not even say our purpose, but our presence, and what we had to undergo, and how it has opened the door. As my wife is saying, how it's opened the door for so many different things, that it has corrupted the educational system, and that the children are not really being educated to become critical, independent thinkers. They're becoming indoctrinated.
Right. So everything is just, it's okay. They could just, it's okay. No. So even one of our viewers recently had sent an article about how they're trying to take in some of the colleges, they're trying to take, the equal, where they had to allow a certain amount of Black students to go to their school. Can you imagine that that's a privilege? We're only taking a certain amount, or
like an affirmative action.
Which they've been done away with, the so-called affirmative action. But schools do get a certain amount of governmental money that accepted a certain amount of Black students or minority students that come to their school. But they're trying to do away with that. So funding will only go to who they can choose, who can come to this school. And I no longer have to choose 20 Black students or 200 Black students in order for me to get this funds now. And it's a shame in 2023, we're still trying to figure out how many Black students can come and how many Blacks can get this education that this school offers. Why are we even having that conversation? Why do we have to get subpar education while you get top-notch, world-leading education? So it's not just in the basic babies or elementary, high school. It's from the bottom all the way to the top.
Even on the university level.
We're trying to fight just to have equal education.
So the opportunity, again, equal opportunity is non-cipher, it's non-existent. It's not there. It's not there. And so, all right, again, volumes can be spoken on this. Holla if you hear us, because I know you feel it. Let's go. Let's move on. Now, mind you, just a reminder, these are the experiences that we've had, and those of us who are still in that cultural society are still having. And this is why we leave. This is why we want something different and better for ourselves.
Number 4, healthcare.
No, number 3.
No, we just did 3. security, police brutality, education.
All right.
Racism, police brutality.
All right.
Number 4.
My bad.
Healthcare. And healthcare also includes food, quality of life, and so forth. So you'll look and they'll always show the blacks have a earlier death rate. The blacks have higher obesity, higher diabetes, higher blah, blah, blah. High blood pressure. We have the worst health of everything. Yeah. But then you can go to our stores in our neighborhood. The foods that they shipped in will be the worst quality foods. It'll be, we used to call them black people tax. It'll be the GMO of all the foods. It'll be the worst quality of meats. It'll have the worst of everything shipped into the black neighborhoods. So we used to go and drive out all the way to Cobb County, Smyrna, whatever, to get to the stores where everyone else goes to and buy at a lower price the best quality foods, the best vegetables, the more freshness. There's no, you could go into the stores in the black neighborhood and you would smell the stale blood in the air because of it's the worst products that you could possibly imagine.
Of the meats.
Right? You'll smell that it's like a warm, hot blood smell because they're not packaging it right. They're not storing it right. It's the worst. It's expired.
Or close to being expired.
Yeah, you'll see it's gray. The meat is extra, extra red because they don't pump dyes in there trying to fool us. So they give us the worst quality of everything. And then they want to document how we're the ones that have the worst health care, the worst lifespan or the shortest lifespan. Women have a hard time getting good quality health care. You can go in and you say, this is my issue. I have this problem. And depending on who that doctor is, they're like, yeah, well, you're okay. It's nothing. It's this or that. Like you have to really fight and know your body, even in the States. I know we've had that conversation here as well, but here they actually, once you show that you're fighting and you know what you're talking about and you know your body and you know which because of how we had to fight in the States, we come here with full knowledge of what's supposed to happen to our bodies. And we know that I have to fight there. I definitely don't want to have to fight here. They don't listen to you. We have a lot of people having stillbirths because they didn't listen to the moms. They didn't listen to the issues beforehand. We have a lot of lawsuits that never get answered because we're black. And they're like, whatever. They're not looked at as this is a whole human being here.
It's a perception. It's a perception that, the skin color equates to something less than. And then there's no priority. The priority is missed, as opposed to, as was said, I'm a human being. If I get shot here as a black man, and another person gets shot at the same place as a white man, guess what? We're gonna hurt the same. We're gonna need the same type of treatment.
But guess who would get to treat it first?
Come on, man. And these are things. Imagine going to the supermarket, buying a watermelon, right? You cut that joker right open, right? There ain't no seeds. What fruit do you know that comes from the earth, that germinated, came to fruition because first it was a seed, but then when it comes and put on your table, it ain't no seeds in there.
It's a clone.
Come on, man. And how do you have a corporation, and in this corporation, you play big bank, take little bank, and you take control of all of the small farmers, and you tell them that every seed that you have, I got a patent on that seed. How do you put a patent on a seed that you didn't have any hand in producing and creating? But because I got a patent on it, anything that grows from that seed is mine.
Because remember, they were trying to tell us you weren't even allowed to have a garden.
Come on.
How dare you grow your own food?
So
you have to get our fake food or you're in trouble.
This is crazy. These are speaking, but that even goes beyond just being a black in America, because the little farmers are many, right? But these are some of the things as it pertains to health in the healthcare. But even so, we get the short end of the stick always, because it is those, as my wife was saying, is those picked over second hand, third hand, fourth hand that comes into our community. And this is what we have.
And we're forced to accept it.
Forced to accept it.
Finally, number 5.
Yeah, because listen, man.
This is the last one we're going to talk about today.
Because we can go.
Number 5.
Number 5.
Security. Children being stolen. Being snatched up from mama's hands. You walking in Walmart and people are plotting on your babies. And just because you turn around and grab a box of cereal, they'll come up and snatch your little girl.
1 second.
In 1 second.
I promise you. No exaggeration.
Have someone come right out between them to block you while you're getting your cereal, snatch your baby, and run right out of the store. Right out of the store.
1 second. I mean, a blink of an eye. Like, man, just that quick and that fast. To take the child wants to go out and enjoy the nice sun and go out and play and have fun. And you let him go out and play, and that's the last time you see him or her ever again. Because money, people want to
take their organs.
Human trafficking, sex trafficking.
Sex trafficking. Not just for girls no more. They stealing girls and boys, stealing them, taking them to another city and making them be sex slave for grown nasty men, who they're now trying to say, well, these grown men that desire these children, it's a disease.
Man,
let's not giving them criminal charges. They have a disease. Pedophilia is going to be labeled as a disease now,
and excused, and accepted, and permissible, and
they done destroyed your child, and they're going to get counseling.
Man, look,
listen. So you have crazy stuff. We had a park right across the street from us, and the girls would be like, "Can we go over to the park?"
Hell no!
Wait a minute, let me get my shoes on. Wait a minute, we gotta go right across the street just to walk with them and be there, because you don't know what's going to happen to your child.
You don't know.
You don't know. And right before we left, I'm sure there's one story. Before we left, we're literally taking pictures, saying goodbye to our friends, and one of the girls went somewhere. We didn't know where she was at this time. The level of the panic, of the heart. What? You're screaming her name. I'm walking down the street. He's walking them behind. They're running up and down the steps looking for this child. She was in the closet getting a bag for my mom. But the thoughts were, someone done stole her. Someone done stole this little girl and going to have her out here. Somebody's disgusting little sex slave. And it was all within 3 to 5 minutes. It was a straight panic attack right before we left, the day of or the day before.
It was the day before.
And I'm near tears, why? Why? You feel like you're really breaking away, trying to run to safety when you're leaving because of this crazy, crazy, crazy world.
No one should have to. No one should have to live that way.
No.
Man. No one should have to live in constant anxiety, constant fear, constant fight, man. Just to live, just to be acknowledged, just to be identified, man, it shouldn't have to be that way.
And it's beautiful. For us, we live in probably the best city, the best place in America. Atlanta is amazing. You can't even appreciate and enjoy what you have because of all these crazy, disgusting elements. And they make evil seem fair, seeming nah, it's okay. It's okay. Let's just desensitize it. It's all right. But the crazy thing is, it only happens to us. And why? Why? So yeah, America is the land of milk and honey. But what kind of milk and honey do you want?
What kind of milk are you gonna get?
What you gonna get?
You gonna get the sour milk.
Is it the honey?
You gonna get the
man.
So listen, family, this is real. Okay, and I didn't even realize as we were embarking on doing this.
We needed to do it because sometimes we be
I'm
forgetting,
full.
getting a little homesick.
You really are reminded, man. You really are. So listen, man. I mean, to American brothers and sisters and those there, we're preaching to the choir.
We feel like that movie when that movie Get Out.
But
that's what I want to say. Get out.
To our African brothers and sisters, man, listen. Y'all have to know, man. Y'all have to understand.
If we come here, we come to Africa, we really, really, really needed to get away.
So I listen. I gotta say this. I gotta say it like this, and I don't mean to really be offensive, but I just gotta come straight. Listen, all that stuff y'all be complaining about, for those who it pertains to, about certain things in Africa, in the countries, you're dissatisfied about this and whatever, so forth and so on. Man, miss me, man, because I'm telling you, this is nothing compared to whatever you're dealing with. It's nothing compared to what we have to experience living in America as black people.
But what you're experiencing is major.
I'm not.
It is major.
I'm not saying it's not.
And we understand, and you dealing with corruption and lack of money or lack of employment or opportunities.
I get that.
But we have that as well.
Yeah.
But imagine being told that you ain't even a whole human.
Come on, man. Come on.
And being treated that way.
I don't mean to make light of, but this is just my passion. So you don't understand what it means for us to be able to live in a society where our children can walk down the street, man. We can walk down the street. We can be in a society where I ain't got to worry about nobody pulling out a gun and sticking me up. I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to worry about someone denying me something because of the color of my skin. I don't have to worry about seeing those police officers who are standing on the corner going to do something to me. I can feel safe because they are on the street corner. I'm telling you, this and a lot of stuff, man. Listen, stop waiting for other people to do for you. If this is your country, this is your society. If it's not working in the way it should be working, help it. Make it work. Don't sit back and say he ain't as a president or he ain't doing this. What are you doing? Help make it work.
And allow us to also contribute.
Allow us to come and offer to you the benefits of what we know.
We ain't coming here rich. We come here almost on our hands and knees like, please, how can we help build? How can we help? How can we contribute to the upliftment of this society? That's what we come for. We don't come to have to, every little dime that you might have had in your pocket, we got to dish it out because we feel like, okay, they're in the worse condition than we are. It's not true. A lot of us come here, we're shattered. We're broken. We're coming for refuge. Or we're coming because we want to be a part of a greater civilization that appreciates us because we're the same people.
Same people, man.
That's all we want to do is just be a part of something real without having to fight for it too much. Just let us just participate.
We love, man.
We do.
We love.
We come with a great understanding. We've come with experience. We've come with most of us diverse knowledge, education, and no, I don't know any expat that think they're better than the locals. I don't know anybody like that. We love and embrace the culture. We strive hard to learn the language or at least find a way to communicate. I done just created my own sign language over here. All this. I done created some stuff. But we're going to find a way to communicate. All we're asking is to have the opportunity, an equal opportunity, to just be a part of the community.
One last thing.
I'm scared because
no, I'm good.
Y'all done ignited.
One last thing.
Minister Muhammad over here.
And this is to us Black Americans that are here and are coming. Come on, man, stop tripping. All right, all of this that we spoke of, you know it. You've experienced it. That's why you left and you're here. That's why you're leaving. When we get here, wherever we are, Rwanda, Kenya, Tanzania, Ghana, Senegal, man, look, leave that other mess alone. We are one.
Yeah, we quick to tear down each other.
We can't tear each other
trying
down.
Trying to act like that you are something or someone that you're not.
Come on, man. We left because we are seeking refuge. We need and we are here, and we don't.
And we're not perfect.
No,
we
man.
make mistakes. Anyway, that's a whole different story.
Anyway, family.
It's 50. Oh Lord, it's gonna be a long video.
Listen,
can y'all watch to the end, please?
If they get to this point, they watch to the end.
Please watch it to the end.
Listen, family.
We're pouring our hearts out here.
We are grateful. We are humbly grateful. We are appreciative of your time as always, your viewership. We are thankful.
10,000 subscribers.
10,000K. We'll hope that we can push forward and continue on, and hopefully we can bring the content that is meaningful. I know, man. I know y'all want the hype.
We're going to do some of that,
we'll
too.
get you that.
But we got the silly side right here, so we're going to get you some of that.
We got to give it to you as is. And this is the experience. So we just got to give it to you as is. And I'm hopefully that you can receive it and appreciate it. And know that we are sincere. Know that we are genuine, right? And this is just our passion, okay? And so we thank you very much. We are thankful that we are able to come and be received on the continent, in these particular countries, man. We're right here in Rwanda, and we're looking to explore all of that we are able to explore by God's grace and his mercy and by his permission. So thank you so much, man. Really, we appreciate you guys so much. And please keep watching, keep supporting us. Hit us with the comments. Man, don't fight, man. Don't fight.
Y'all be
don't fight.
The keyboard gangsters, man. Y'all be at it.
Here, let us not have selective hearing and selective listening. Okay? Let us really just try to hear out what is, okay, between us as we dialogue and as we communicate and as we, share our insight and our understanding. Please. Anyway, thank you so much.
We're looking forward to hearing your comments on this one.
Oh my gosh, I know it's going to be something. Anyway, thank you so very much for your time. We appreciate you. Continue to pray for us and send out that positive energy as we do for you guys. And till next time, peace and blessings.